retaliation, urging global powers to step back from the brink. But now, China has done just that, igniting the flames with surgical precision. The fallout? American exporters, from industrial machinery to agriculture, are cornered. According to Reuters, over $300 billion in U.S. exports are now directly threatened by this retaliatory tax, sending ripple effects across every supply chain. Even President Trump, who once cheered tariff wars as easy to win, now lashes out against China's latest move, calling it a miscalculation. Yet public reaction to his remarks, riddled with inconsistency and dismissiveness, has been blistering. CNN Business reports that leading economists see this escalation as a self-inflicted trade disaster. With markets in freefall and strategic allies distancing themselves, the U.S. is facing the consequences of years of combative trade diplomacy. While global markets tremble under the weight of a spiraling trade war, President Trump becomes the punchline of a Hollywood roast. Legendary actor Robert De Niro, known for portraying mafia bosses with brutal honesty, takes the stage not in a movie, but in real life, delivering a blunt verdict. Trump is stupid. His critique, delivered without theatrics, landed like a haymaker. The crowd erupted in laughter. But beyond the humor lies a damning reality. When actors begin articulating the nation's economic frustrations better than its own leader, it's no longer entertainment. It's indictment. CNN and The Washington Post have both highlighted how Trump's off-script, often contradictory public remarks have directly contributed to market volatility. In fact, a 2024 report from Moody's Analytics attributes over 600 points of Dow Jones fluctuations in Q4 alone to Trump's unfiltered social media outbursts. Instead of offering stability during a crisis, Trump is fueling uncertainty, tweeting insults while the economy bleeds. De Niro's quip may have been meant for laughs, but the punchline hides a grim truth. Leadership that entertains while the house burns is not leadership at all. As the self-proclaimed stable genius continues to fumble through an escalating economic storm, even his public image grows shakier by the day. Robert De Niro, initially laced with sarcasm, drops the punchlines, and suddenly, the laughter stops. In a haunting moment, De Niro draws a historical parallel few dare to utter. Hitler, Mussolini, they were fools, clowns, and no one took them seriously until it was too late. The shift from satire to somber struck a chord. His warning? Do not underestimate what power in the hands of a reckless leader can unleash. This isn't Hollywood hyperbole. CNN's Fareed Zakaria recently warned that the erosion of democratic norms under Trump mirrors disturbing authoritarian patterns seen in 20th century Europe. Meanwhile, the New York Times editorial board cautioned that dismissing Trump's rhetoric as mere noise is a dangerous form of complacency. With the global economy on edge and tariffs threatening U.S. alliances and supply chains, the credibility of American leadership is under fire. When a veteran actor speaks more bluntly than most politicians dare, it's no longer just performance, it's a plea. Clowns, fools, comedians. History is full of them, until they seize power. Robert De Niro doesn't mince words. Hitler and Mussolini were underestimated, laughed at. Then they turned the world into a living hell. Now De Niro fires a final warning shot. Humor is fine. But if Trump continues to be underestimated, the one laughing last might just be the clown with the golden hair we're mocking today. It's not just Hollywood drama. A report by Brookings Institution warned that Trump's disregard for institutional checks and balances mirrors the populist authoritarian wave seen globally. Similarly, The Atlantic emphasized in 2024 that mocking Trump is easy, recognizing the threat is harder. This isn't a punchline, it's a pattern. Leaders once dismissed as jokes often rewrite history with blood, not ink. And if America keeps treating the danger like a meme, it may soon face consequences far more terrifying than tweets. A scary one. That's how Robert De Niro ends his tirade before landing a brutal punchline. Is Trump pretending to be stupid to confuse people? His answer? Number. He's not smart enough to pretend. It's funny, until it's not. Underestimating Trump as just a clown is not only lazy, it's dangerous. As CNN's Fareed Zakaria noted, Trump's unpredictability is not strategic. It's impulsive, and that's what makes it perilous. And according to the Washington Post, his stream of consciousness rhetoric has created a fog of confusion that blurs truth and weaponizes ignorance. The real threat isn't whether he's pretending. The threat is that this is real, raw, unscripted, and unfiltered, and millions still buy into it. De Niro's final plea? People have to get out and vote and vote and vote. Because democracy isn't lost overnight. It's lost in silence, when laughter replaces action. Donald Trump, who constantly brags about being smarter than the generals and doctors, is likely now Googling the definition of stupid. He's the president who once said he wanted to punch someone in the face. Robert De Niro's response? Oh, I want to punch him in the face. The audience erupted, but this isn't just showbiz. It's the unmasking of a dangerous narrative. Trump's obsession with projecting dominance, punching, threatening, mocking, is classic authoritarian behavior. As CNBC noted in 2024, Trump's political brand hinges on aggression over policy, spectacle over substance. But the world's watching and responding. According to The Atlantic, global leaders no longer fear Trump. They brace for his tantrums like one would for a toddler with nuclear codes. De Niro's punchline might be symbolic, but it cuts deep. When leadership is reduced to brawling bravado, the biggest blow isn't physical. It's to democracy itself. A quick, sharp retort from De Niro had the audience roaring, like an action scene from his own movies. Trump may talk tough on Twitter, but face-to-face, he could very well end up being the smallest man Hollywood has ever seen. Don't talk to me that way. I'm the President of the United States. Trump's meltdown in that moment wasn't power. It was panic. The same man who prided himself on bulldozing over journalists and critics now revealed his deepest insecurity, not being taken seriously. As CNN reported in 2020, Trump's confrontational media strategy was never about facts. It was about fear, weaponizing chaos to dominate headlines. But the act is wearing thin. According to the Washington Post, more than 30,000 false or misleading claims were made during his presidency, turning the tough guy image into a caricature of denial and delusion. The bully persona might work in show business. In politics, it collapses under the weight of facts and ridicule. Declaring, "No one is allowed to speak to the president like that," Trump tried to reassert dominance. But De Niro and Jimmy Kimmel had already flipped the script, turning the world's most powerful man into a whining child in a supermarket aisle. Throwing tantrums, demanding silence, and reacting like he just lost his favorite toy, Trump didn't look presidential. He looked pathetic. Late-night shows have always poked fun at politicians, but Trump's reactions have become the punchline itself. According to The Atlantic, no other president has elevated late-night mockery into a political battlefield quite like Trump. He doesn't ignore the ridicule. He fuels it, attacking comedians like Kimmel in all-caps tweets that sound less like a leader and more like a jilted celebrity. "Jimmy Kimmel is a loser. We would do Jimmy Kimmel. I'd do Jimmy." Trump rambled in one interview. It's hard to tell if he's threatening satire or auditioning for a roast battle. Even CNN's Brian Stelter noted, Trump treats comedy as combat. But in comedy, timing is everything, and Trump always hits back too late and too loud. Kimmel? I did him a lot, Trump recalled, describing how the late-night host once greeted him outside the studio, practically rolling out a red carpet. "Sir, may I bring you in?" he mimicked, desperate to paint a picture of loyalty lost. But once Trump entered politics, he claimed everything changed. "All they do is talk bad about Trump," he whined. That wasn't just bitterness. That was a public admission of vanity. In a moment that reeked of insecurity, Trump called Kimmel a loser, hoping it would sting. Instead, the insult landed with all the weight of a wet paper towel. According to the Washington Post, Trump's obsession with late-night TV reveals less about comedians and more about his fragile ego. Even Stephen Colbert couldn't resist, joking, "It's not a feud. It's a one-man pity party, and the man brought his own spotlight." As Trump rants, late-night hosts rake in ratings, and the world watches a former president unravel in real time. Trump was desperately trying to salvage his image by belittling others, going as far as to imply that disrespecting him should be a crime. This isn't presidential confidence, it's a tantrum disguised as leadership. Once the man who declared "I never fail," Trump now spends his twilight political hours firing off bitter tweets, attempting to rewrite history, claiming Jimmy Kimmel once bowed to him on the street. It's a narrative so delusional, even Fox News didn't bother to amplify it. According to The Guardian, this level of fabricated self-importance is a hallmark of narcissistic leadership spiraling under pressure. Hollywood didn't just laugh, they roared. This time, Wanda Sykes, a veteran comic and vocal critic of Trump, took the stage and demolished him with just one line. "You don't get to call yourself a winner when your biggest win lately is trending for a meltdown." Sykes's commentary cut deeper than any political ad. And once again, Trump's attempt at dominance only fueled the firestorm. In the battle between satire and ego, Trump is now the punchline. Sharp commentary isn't just for laughs, it's become a mirror reflecting the deeper dysfunctions of American politics. Comedian Wanda Sykes didn't merely roast Trump's personality, she questioned his very fitness for leadership. She quipped, "It's like people are still waiting for him to become presidential, like he's going to learn emotional control. But the man is 70 years old. I'm teaching those skills to my 7-year-old twins." This isn't just a joke. It's a brutal indictment of a man once entrusted with nuclear codes. As The Atlantic noted, Trump's emotional immaturity isn't a side effect. It's the central hazard of his leadership. The bigger concern is what this says about America itself. Why are millions still expecting a septuagenarian who's governed with spite and impulse to suddenly adopt statesmanship? That's not optimism. That's denial. And while comedians deliver these truths under laughter, the damage to America's global standing is no laughing matter. Trump is 70. He's not going to learn anything now. If he's a dick, he's just going to be a dick. Wanda Sykes didn't mince words, and the brutal honesty hit harder than any late-night monologue. But this isn't just about one man's temperament. It's a scathing critique of a political system that allows arrogance, immaturity, and unchecked ego to masquerade as leadership. As The New Yorker put it, in the Trump era, competence became optional, ego became law. Sykes doesn't stop at Trump. She calls out the entire brand. "His whole family annoys me, matter of fact." This frustration echoes beyond comedy. According to a Pew Research survey, 58% of Americans say the Trump family uses politics for personal gain. Her critique is clear. It's not just a presidency, it's a personality cult. One built not on vision, but on vanity. Tiffany Trump with a Secret Service detail? Wanda Sykes doesn't hold back. Nobody knows who she is. And yet, American taxpayers are footing the bill. This isn't about celebrity privilege. It's about how political dynasties exploit state resources. According to Washington Post, Trump's adult children had Secret Service protection extended 6 months beyond the end of his presidency, at a cost of $1.7 million to taxpayers. And then there's the myth of Trump as a self-made billionaire. Wanda calls it out clearly. He's a fake billionaire. Forbes confirms Trump's net worth dropped by over $700 million during his presidency, and his fortune was largely inherited, not earned. His narrative is crumbling. The man who promised to drain the swamp seems to have turned the White House into a family business where influence, protection, and privilege are handed down like heirlooms.